Echoes of the Last Dawn. Supernatural Rewrite. In the dimming glow of a fractured world, the last remnants of humanity clung to life like forgotten prayers in a crumbling cathedral. The end hadn't come with fire alone, it had arrived on silent wings, floods without rain, stars falling without warning, cities swallowed by the earth itself. It was as if something ancient had stirred beneath the skin of the planet and decided it was time to wake. They called it the collapse. But in whispered tones, some called it something older, the undoing. Around a frail campfire, flames flickering like breath in a dying chest, a small group of survivors huddled close. Their clothes were tattered, their skin wind-worn. Yet something in their eyes, haunted and wide, spoke of visions they could not explain. Sarah, the youngest of them, stared into the fire as if it spoke. Her voice rose softly, almost reverent. "I've been dreaming again, of a place in the mountains. The fire shows it to me at night. I think something's waiting for us there." Her words carried weight. For in recent nights, each of them had felt the same pull, unspoken, unprovoked. A voice not heard with the ears, but known in the bones. It wasn't hope they followed, it was something deeper. A calling. Their path took them through landscapes touched by something otherworldly. Entire cities had vanished without trace. The wind carried voices, not words, just weeping, low and distant. At night, the stars blinked in strange patterns. Shapes moved in mirrors. Sometimes they'd awaken not knowing how far they'd walked, their feet bloodied, their minds blank. But still, they pressed on. As they neared the mountains, symbols began to appear. Charred trees twisted into unnatural spirals. Birds flew in endless circles. A child's toy spun on its own beneath a dead tree. Sarah picked it up and heard a lullaby in a language she had never learned, yet understood. They did not question it. They were far past the point of disbelief. When they reached the sanctuary, high in the frozen teeth of the mountains, it was as the stories had said, stone walls, old and crumbling, bathed in silver mist. But it was not abandoned. A figure stepped from the mist, cloaked in blackened robes, face hidden behind a cracked porcelain mask. "You've heard the echo," the figure said. "The world is not dying. It is remembering." The survivors exchanged glances. No one spoke. The figure turned and walked toward the heart of the ruin. Something urged them to follow. Inside, beneath the remnants of a stone ceiling open to the heavens, stood a circular chamber. At its center, an altar. And atop it, a dark orb, smooth as obsidian, pulsing with a heartbeat none of them could hear but all of them felt. "This is not a tool," the figure said. "It is a memory. A voice of the first light and the last shadow. You were brought here to decide which one the world will wake to." Sarah stepped forward, drawn as if by invisible threads. Her fingers hovered above the orb. "What happens if we touch it?" she asked. "You remember everything," the figure replied. "Not just your life, but all lives. All sins. All cries unheard. And you choose." They were silent. But something in the firelight outside had changed. It no longer flickered red, it burned with hues of violet and gold. One by one, they stepped forward, hands brushing the orb. And one by one, they were shown their own truths, the hidden things they had buried, the pain the world had tried to forget. And then, the darkness came. Not from the sky, but from within. The orb pulsed and cracked. Shadows poured from their own reflections. The sanctuary groaned as if alive. The earth beneath them shuddered. But amidst it all, Sarah stood still. Her eyes, once full of fear, were now filled with light. "It's not salvation we came for," she whispered. "It was reckoning." The orb shattered. There was silence. And then a light broke over the horizon. Not the sun, but something older. A soft, golden dawn that warmed the cold bones of the world. The campfire outside roared to life without a spark. The wind ceased. And for the first time in years, the air smelled like rain. The masked figure was gone. Only Sarah remained standing in the center of the chamber, alone but not broken. The others knelt, not in worship but in understanding. The world had ended. But something else had begun. Not a future, but a remembering of what was lost. Echoes of the last dawn, becoming the first.